Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of Scott's Selection here for Saturday, October 12th. Before we get into today's play of the day, quick recap of what happened yesterday. We ended up winning as we had the Miami Hurricanes -2.5 at -110 at DraftKings against the number 20th ranked Virginia Cavaliers. Game was, well, it was exactly how I thought it would go. It was absolutely hideous to watch. Virginia outplayed Miami for the majority of the game. They just couldn't score a touchdown. Miami was a questionable favorite going in. That's why we ended up backing them as the line made no sense. And they ended up winning by 8 in a very hideous game. But either or, it was definitely pleasant for our bank accounts, and we will look to continue our winning ways in this one. Now, in terms of today's card, of course, there's a decent amount of baseball with 2 games going on, and you also have a lot of college football. However, since I already have 2 college plays pending from earlier in the week play of the days, I decided to switch it up, and I decided to go for hockey in terms of today's play of the day. Now, just a general rule of thumb in terms of hockey, it's a very unpredictable sport to bet just based on the fact that everything can be determined by one bad bounce or one poor penalty, as goals are, well, scoring itself is a lot less common naturally than it is in basketball and football. So just keep that in mind. But for that reason, I like to give out underdogs in hockey, just typically, as I think favorites don't really possess much value in a game that's based so much on chance. But in terms of the play of the day today, I see one underdog that I think has a little bit too much value. And for that reason, I will be giving that out as play of the day. And for that reason, the matchup we're going to be looking at is between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Minnesota Wild, as this game should be taking place at 8:30 p.m. And we actually like the road underdog here with the Pittsburgh Penguins, which is available on the money line at plus 105 on FanDuel. Now, the main reason why first of all, the reason why there's a line is based so heavily in favor of the Wild is based on the fact that the Penguins have been dealing with a plethora of injuries to worry about, specifically to the likes of Evgeny Malkin, as well as Bukestad and some other pieces. However, both those players also did not, and Galchenyuk, who I forgot to mention before. However, those players all did not play in the team's last game against the Anaheim Ducks, and they ended up winning 2-1. Anaheim's 4-1. Their only loss coming against Pittsburgh. I think even though Pittsburgh's missing these key pieces, I think it still has the firepower to get around it, led by Sidney Crosby and Gensel and even Hornqvist. I think that they should manage to get the job done with Murray and net, who has looked absolutely fantastic so far in goal. And specifically, if I look at his numbers for the season, Murray has been one of the best goalies in the entire league, as he is currently 2-2. Record's not great, but he has a 2.52 goals against average and a save percentage of 92%, which is very solid. I think he should play well again. But the main reason why the Wild are favorites are, one, based on the fact that the Penguins have been dealing with some injuries, and two, everyone's talking about how the Wild, playing their first home game of the season, are due for a win and how they're going to be extremely motivated, and it's a must-win game for the Wild. And I understand that the Wild are 0-3. It's the 4th game of the regular season. There's no such thing as a must-win game in the beginning of October. That's absurd. I think if you want to say, based on the fact that the Wild have lost the first couple of games, they might come out motivated to do something at home. That's one story. But to claim that they're due for a win and to claim that since they're at home, they're going to come out swinging, I don't really get that narrative to me. I think the fact is the Wild aren't a very good hockey team. They have lost each of their last 3 games by at least 2 goals. They haven't scored more than 2 goals in each of their last 3 games. This team can't score. Dubnyk's look terrible in net. As I pull up his stats really quickly, his numbers are terrible. He's 0-3, and he has a save percentage of, I believe it's 88%. Let me just pull up that number to get it exactly right. He just hasn't been solid in net. I don't really care about the whole due for a home win narrative. I think that's a waste of time. And I think in hockey, when in doubt, you always go with the best player on the ice, and Crosby is significantly better than anybody that the Wild possess. I think that this line should be somewhere in the realm of maybe -110 each. So I think at plus 105, I think you're getting good value here on the Penguins, despite all the injuries that they are dealing with. Is it possible Minnesota wins this game? Of course, it's possible. It is hockey after all. But Dubnyk's in net with a .882 save percentage and a 3.73 goals against average, which is absolutely terrible. And I think for that reason, I think Pittsburgh has the goalie advantage. I think they have the talent advantage, and I think Pittsburgh should come out, and I think they should make this game an absolute battle. And at plus 105, I think you're getting way too good odds. So for that reason, the play of the day will be on the Pittsburgh Penguins on the money line, which is available at plus 105. on FanDuel, and that will be the play of the day. Other than that, though, looking at the rest of the betting card, I will lean to the over in the Yankees and the Astros game, as Tanaka's been great historically in the postseason with a 1.54 postseason ERA. However, most of his success has come at home, as he has struggled on the road in the past. So I'm a little bit skeptical of taking the Yankees straight up on the money line in this game. However, Greinke has not been great in the postseason, and I think that with these two lineups getting together, I think you have to lean to the over, as you should see a decent amount of runs in this game. So in terms of the actual baseball games today, I would lean to the over 9 between the Yankees and the Astros. And I'm actually going to lean to the Cardinals on the money line with Wainwright versus Scherzer. I know that Anibal Sanchez pitched an absolute gem in game 1 yesterday. And I know that Scherzer was great in his last start, but as a whole, Scherzer has not been a great postseason pitcher. Wainwright's been insane at home. I think the Cardinals will do whatever they can to avoid falling down 2-0. And I will take the Cardinals on the money line there. I think there is some value on that. In terms of college football, I've already given out my main thoughts on the games, so I'm not really going to give out anything else because I don't really like anything else. I gave out a fun lottery parlay on my Twitter, where I just gave out a 5-pick with some underdogs just to pay out a huge profit for a very minimal risk. So I'm going to be riding one of those. But other than that, though, not really much else to talk about in terms of UFC. There are some fights going on. Am I going to touch anything? No. I like Joanna, but there's just no value there at minus 355. That's a waste of time. I would look to James Vick as an underdog, but overall, not really much to talk about. But the play of the day will be on the Pittsburgh Penguins on the money line at plus 105 at FanDuel. Before we conclude today's video, though, a quick reminder of our sponsor, PointsBet, All-In Sportsbook in New Jersey. A couple of great deals for you. Up to 2 risk-free bets up to $1,000. If you end up betting on any sports and end up losing, you simply get your money back, which is a great promotion that more sportsbooks could use. Other than that, though, that's going to do it for this installment of Scott's Selections here for Saturday, October 12th. Good luck to all of you and your respective bets today. Bye, everyone.